welcome to a new episode of In Other Words with Danielle and Zara.
Ooh, so this is a podcast where we talk about a wide variety of different subjects, from what parents wish their children knew to materialism. So in other words, we talk about all the things.
You did that so well. That was a mouthful.
It was, actually.
So today the local brand that I want to promote is a company that actually promotes brands.
Wow.
So it is Image Bearers. They do website, social media management, branded corporate wear, etc. And it's run by a guy who goes to our church, and he's so lovely and he's very nice to work with. So definitely check them out, Image Bearers. They have their own website. They are on Facebook, on Instagram. So if your business needs some promoting,
Wow.
holla.
I dig it. Cool. So today we're going to speak a bit about stress. We all feel it. We all know what it's like.
Indeed.
It's not a good time.
No.
So before we start, Zara, how are you feeling today?
I'm okay. I'm feeling good today. Not
That's
gonna
good.
lie. I won't lie. Since I've got my degree, and I've just been, because I've always worked and studied at the same time.
Yes.
But since I've only working now, I don't feel that same stress. So like that pressure's been off for a while.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I got a good night's rest.
Look at you.
I woke up to the sound of yours and Devon's voice, which is just always such a
delightful.
joy. So I'm feeling good.
That's good.
And you?
I am well. I have 2 assignments due this week. So the one that's due tomorrow on Monday, I think it's done. The one that's due on Friday, it's not good.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm
But
feeling a bit
that's
worried for that.
Friday.
It's Friday's problem, exactly.
Only Sunday right now.
Exactly. And you know what? I'm going to speak a bit about this later, but I've come to realize that I need to think in more of an abundance mindset, you know?
Yes.
I have all the time that I need.
Exactly.
'Cause I do.
And you don't, it's not like you have to do it. You get to do
I
it.
get to do it. All right.
I get you. Also, I feel like it's important that we let the people know that your family has expanded.
Yes.
You're not pregnant.
No.
You
Thank-
got a puppy.
Yes. Oh, she's so cute. We got a cute little golden retriever. If you want to see pictures of her, follow me on my Instagram.
Yes.
Danielle_Marais, I think. I'm pretty sure it is that though.
Sounds right.
Yes.
But I don't know.
I think it is.
But don't follow her unless you're following our podcast.
Yes.
In other words,
Yes, it's
_podcast.
it's a conditional following, so I'll only accept your request if I see that you're following the podcast.
yes.
You see.
And maybe we'll put her in an episode one day.
Maybe if you're lucky. I don't know. We'll
She's
see.
very cute.
She's very cute. Okay.
All right. Stress.
All right. So I feel like I've always been a stressor.
But like an internal stress.
Yeah,
like you
I'm-
internalize everything.
Yes, I'm not going around and freaking everyone out before a test, but like I am just stressing about things all the time. So like I was thinking about things that tend to stress me out, and it's like academics is probably the main one at the moment, especially. And I mean, my whole life really, I've always been at school or at university. And I'm very, like, I want to do well. I put a lot of pressure on myself, I think, in that way. I don't necessarily want to do well for anyone else.
Yeah.
But like I want to do well for myself, which I feel like is a good mindset.
No, yes. No, for sure.
But yeah, and then another thing that is really dumb that stresses me out is like my health. There's at least a few times in the year where I'm convinced myself that I might have cancer.
Okay.
So, and I feel like that's a family thing. Like almost all of my dad's side of the family is the same way.
Yes.
So
I do know this actually.
Yeah, it's very fun. And then I stress about my future.
Yeah.
You know, I think most people can attest to this as well. You know, getting my honors at the end of this year, then I have to think, okay, do I want to do my masters? Do I want to start working? And then I'm like, I don't even know what job I want to do, so I might as well do my masters. And I mean, I want to do it as well.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, what kind of job will I even
There's going to be
get?
a point where you can't study any longer.
Exactly. I mean, maybe
Yes.
I'll be a lifelong learner, you know?
All about
We'll
that.
see.
You can be that way either way.
That's true. That's true. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to be an academic, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll see.
I get you. I think for me also, like, academically I've always really stressed, which is why now being an official student, it is a very weird freeing feeling, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
And then also I have these little things that like will stress me out, and then it just like multiply. So for example, I'll give you one example. I went to the doctor this week or whatever, and I got put on new like vitamins and supplements.
Yeah.
And my medical aid, generally they don't cover multivitamins, or they only cover a stipend.
Yeah, medical aid is foolishness.
After I walked out of the pharmacy with my shopping bag of things, I obviously had a co-payment, and then I was like, Zara, first of all, for those of you who watched our mental health or listened to our mental health series, you know that I have bipolar, so I'm on medication. I'm like, Zara, you're on all this medication, and when you get a job that pays more than you're getting paid now, you will have to come off your mother's medical aid. How will you pay for medical aid? If you can't pay for medical aid, will you go crazy? Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, my bank account is like, my bank card is expiring this month. I need to open a new bank account. What must I choose? Will I have money? Will I be able to live alone one day?
I think that all the time. Because I'm also like, oh my gosh, I need to move out one day, and I'm like, how? How must I have my own place?
So that was just my little mind.
I loved it. I love Zara's internal monologue
on Friday, but I feel good today.
That's good. That's good.
Because I'm still on my mom's medical aid.
That's great. You got to enjoy while it lasts. There.
Exactly. So yeah, it's just these little things, you know. It's like you think of it, and it just like becomes a mountain.
But it's actually like, it's so stupid, actually, to stress about little things though, because it's like, you know, something is going to be tough when it gets to it, right? But when you stress about it, then it just makes it even worse because you're already anticipating it, then it happens, and like, it's actually never as bad as you think it's going to be in most cases. So like, why do we do it to ourselves? And I think as well, people who do stress a lot, I think it's also often a form of like self-sabotage. Yeah. You know, it's like our bodies are literally just making things harder for ourselves. And then we allow our minds to go down this spiral of, oh, this is going to be bad, and then this is going to be bad, and like everything's going to be bad. Yeah. And it's so dumb, really. But it's so like, it's so difficult to actually stop it. Yes. Yeah.
I think something that I've always reminded myself, especially when I was in varsity and there'd be an assignment that just felt like I was never going to get it, you know? Yeah. And I reached a point where I was like, Zara, you've made it this far. You always get it done. Exactly. Like, tell yourself that when you're stressed about a deadline. Have you ever not got it done? Probably not. So you will get it done.
Exactly. You know? Exactly. And I think it's also a form of self-doubt, at least in my case. I'm always like, I do well like in my assignments, in my just general academics, but I still all the time I'm thinking like, this assignment, like that's not going to go well, like you're really dumb and you'll never get it done and you'll never do a good job. And it's completely ridiculous, actually. And then it's also just the same thing of, oh, I'm feeling so stressed because I mean today's Sunday and I have a thing on Friday that I haven't really started. And it's like, in reality, I've always gotten things done. Exactly. But you know what another thing is, another form of self-sabotage? I am such a procrastinator.
You are.
I am, but I'm a productive procrastinator. In the sense, I'll tell you how my mind works, right? I'll get so much time for an assignment, and the lecturers are saying, you should start working on it now already. But I know that if I start working on it way ahead of time, I'll just get bored. And it will just be bad. There have been times where I've spent like 2 weeks on an essay, and then like I don't really know what I'm writing at the end of it because I need to like put in, like most of my time is spent on research, and then it's like 2 or 3 days on actually writing it, depending on how long it is, obviously. But I feel like my train of thought works better that way. So would it be better if I had to start doing that same thing just a bit earlier on so that I don't have to stress about it? Yes. Will I start doing that? No, I can't. I need the pressure.
Yes. And I think what's important about stress is we also just kind of have to understand that you are going to face stress at any period in your life.
Exactly.
You know, you're going to be stressed up until you have a degree.
You're going to be stressed even further than that.
And then like, I just think of like, I'm sure expectant parents are probably stressed about the kind of parents they're going to be, or you're stressed financially. Like there's always going to be some sort of stressor. And I think what we wanted to chat today about, because I was telling Danielle before we recorded, there's so much research like scientific and just like lifestyle in general, that points out the symptoms of stress and how bad it is.
Yeah.
And yes, it is really bad.
It is bad.
It affects like every part of you, and
your health,
what's interesting,
sleep, etc., etc.
What's interesting is that we really haven't evolved that much. So the kind of stress that we're feeling about a test is the same stress that a person who is about to be attacked by a lion would have been years ago. It's that same like panic, or your body's being threatened.
It's like a flight or fight kind of thing.
And the reality is that it's not normal to live in that state of mind all the time. So if you are like, seek help kind of thing.
Exactly.
But at the same time, you are always going to have little stresses. And something that I noticed is there's a lack of like just practical, normal advice on the internet. It's all about how like, it's like exercise and eat healthy and sleep.
Yeah. It's like, well, duh, but easier said than done, you
Exactly.
know?
So yeah, should we chat about things that help us in moments of stress?
Yes. So I think I've realized recently one of the biggest things that helps to relieve my stress is literally just to rant or rant. How do you say it? Do you say rant or rant?
I say rant.
Okay.
But then
people make fun of me when I say rant, so I'm saying rant right now.
I say, do you go to a restaurant or a restaurant?
True. Anyway, linguistics aside, one of the most effective ways for me to kind of just let my stress out is literally just to rant to someone about it, you know?
100%.
So oftentimes, like let's say I'm stressed about an assignment, I will message someone in my class and say, hey, how are you feeling for this assignment? In most cases, they're feeling the exact same way that I'm feeling. So it helps me to like get out of my own head. First of all, like that makes me think that I'm the only one struggling with this. And then we can just chat about it, you know, like, oh, this is what I'm struggling with. What do you think? And then oftentimes they will have advice. And I mean, it doesn't even need to be someone who's going through the same thing that you're going through. Even like if I message you, or I'll sit down with my cousin who I share a flat with, and I'll be like, oh, I'm feeling so stressed about it. And it really helps quite a lot. And it might sound stupid, but it's great.
I feel like there's those two things. Either it helps so much to have a person say, I completely get you, and I'm in the same boat, and it's like, wow, we can do this. And it's easier to sometimes when you are in that place of like self-doubt, you look at the person across the room and you're like, oh, she can 100% do this, and if she can, so can you.
Exactly, you're in the same position.
Exactly. And then on the other hand, it's like sometimes a person who may not be able to relate can still like talk you off the cliff.
Exactly. And another thing is, I can remember in first year, I had a political science test the next day, and like I was really not prepared for it because I think there was something else due that week, and I just not studied properly for it. And it was like the night before, and my friend and she was also studying political science, we literally just went to the general res area, the sitting room, and like we just sat down with other people and just spoke absolute nonsense. And I was like, wow, I feel better. Like I didn't even need to speak about the stress, but literally just speaking and just having a good time helps so much.
And with that, I think it's important that when you are like just generally stressed, you tend to just focus on the things you need to get done. And it's so important that you actually prioritize like a social life, or just time with people, and identify like who are the people that when you walk into a room with them, they're going to stress you out more.
Stay away.
And who are the people that are just generally going to uplift you. And you know what I mean. So just find people and make plans, even if you think you don't have time, because in the long run
you have all the time you need, like I said. All right, what's something that helps you as well?
Okay, showers.
Oh yes,
let me tell you, y'all, I promise you, like especially at night, or like if you are having to like burn the midnight oil or just stay up really late, like sometimes you just need to like get in the shower. Or if you're just waking up and not looking forward to the day, and you kind of, you know, those days where you're just like, I can't get down, I can't deal. Get in the shower, it is a place to think.
Oh, it's so good.
The water just washes away the worries.
All the negative energy.
It sounds so stupid, but showers make me feel so much better. It's kind of like, it's literally a fresh start. You get out with a new mind and you're clean.
It's like you're reborn. I completely agree. I mean, I think I messaged you about it. I was feeling, I'm sorry, if I'm only talking about assignments, it's because that is what stresses me out at the moment.
Stress, yeah.
But I was busy with this essay, and I was like almost done, but I couldn't figure out what else to say. But like I started to make up the word count, and I was like, how am I going to do this? Got into the shower. Immediately a thought just popped into my brain. I was like, cool. And to think I wasn't even going to shower that night, because I was like, oh, I don't have time to shower. And then I did, and it's because of that I finished my essay.
I promise you, they work.
Yeah. I think another thing is, I mean, exercise actually. And like it is something that's always been said, but you got to exercise. And it doesn't need to be like an intense workout. You don't need to go to the gym. Go take a walk around the block.
Walks with my dogs.
Walks are lovely.
With my dogs. I only have one
you
dog.
have one dog. Walk with my dog. It is, yeah, it's really refreshing and gets the endorphins going. And it's also a great time to think.
Yeah.
So you can actually, I don't know, I feel like it's the same with showering. You can sometimes just see the greater scheme of things.
Yeah.
Like, hey, if I don't do so well in this little maths test tomorrow, it'll be fine. Like, no one's going to look back at my first term grade 11 maths test. No one will, I promise. Yeah. So yeah, go for some exercise. And I find also, like, you don't need to do something that takes up a lot of time, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of and I'm guilty of this as well. I'll say I don't have time to exercise right now, but in reality I can spare half an hour.
Yeah.
Because most likely I would have been going on my phone anyway. And that's another thing that's really bad. Put timers on your apps, children. Like, for real. Or just turn it off.
I promise you, your phone adds to your stress.
It
adds
does.
to mine.
It does. Because, okay, anyway, we can speak about that
Yes.
now. But, yeah, if you find like half an hour workout on YouTube, do it. You feel great. You can have a shower afterwards. It's all good. Eat something good, It's a good time. And you don't need to do something that's super intense either. You can do some yoga, do a stretch. It's great.
I dance
You can dance.
when no one's home.
Just move your body.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And then something that helps me is sometimes you can be very stressed in situations or when there are people around kind of thing. Because the reality is you're not always just going to be at home stressing by yourself.
Yeah.
And Danielle will tell you last weekend, just before church, everything was going wrong.
Yes. We were on worship, by the way. This was just not normal church.
Yes. And yes, sound was going wrong. Just everything was going wrong.
Yeah.
And our worship pastor was away. And I was like, I don't want to let Brett down. Shout out to Brett. And I felt very stressed. And I said to Danielle, you just sing quickly during practice. And when I went to the bathroom, I literally just prayed and I put water on my face and I came up and I was ready to go.
It's good.
So it's just like sometimes just remove yourself from the situation and breathe.
Exactly. And also, like you just said now, praying. I was saying to Devin the other day, like, spiritual health is so underrated in our society. It's all about, and like physical health is important, obviously, whatever, but often then your spirituality gets neglected, right? And that's something that forms part of you and it shouldn't be neglected. So whether you're religious or just like spiritual or whatever, like I don't know what you guys do, but don't neglect that side of you. I think everyone needs it. And it's part of your overall health.
Exactly. And something that I've always found, and the Lord is just very funny with this, at the times where I've had the most on my plate, I often find that, you'll say like, oh, I don't have time to spend the Lord. I don't have time to read my Bible now because I have to get this stuff done.
Exactly.
The Lord is always just like, what's the word? Not rewarded my time, redeemed my time.
Yes.
It's always like, if I can start my day right or start a particular period of time right, your mindset will be so different.
Exactly.
And also sometimes when you spend time with the Lord or you just like take a moment, it gives you perspective.
Exactly.
And I was actually there's this woman, she's European, she's a brain she's a neurologist,
Okay.
but she does a lot of study now. She's not practicing doctor anymore. And she was saying like the most spiritual people, when you learn to just focus your mind like on the Lord and kind of silence everything else, you, in other areas of your life, it helps you retain information because you focus better. You've learned to focus and like shut everything else out. So yeah, that's so true. I've actually never thought about that so much. But yeah, and I think also leading on to this, it's if you just take time and like if you're not a Christian or you're not religious, like just just going into this zone in your mind, you can do it anyway. And just breathing is so important. And I think like a good thing that I often do is just like breathe in for 4 counts, hold for 8 counts, and then like blow out for another 8 counts. Like we used to do that in speech and drama, and I was like, cool. But it's very effective, and breathing really does ground you as well. Like it brings you back to the moment, like, okay, this is where I am right now, this is what I have to do, and you can do it. So yeah. Okay, and then lists. I've never been a list person. I love my lists. Okay, so here's the thing about lists. I'm talking about whether it be to-do lists or when you just need to organize your thoughts. So I will always do lists when I'm prepping for a podcast, and half of the thoughts will be so random. But it just helps you organize it. But specifically, I do every day when I get to work, I start my day with a to-do list. Oh, that's cute. Yes, you can see my diary. It's very cute. And the thing, I think the downfall of lists is that it is like, I don't want to say it's human nature, but I've seen it with anyone who makes a list, is you overestimate the amount of things you can get done in a day. And when you don't get your to-do list done, you feel terrible. So now I'm saying make a list to organize and prioritize without expectations. So what I do with my list is I will just write down everything I know I need to get done. And it'll just be whatever first comes to mind. Like I haven't prioritized anything yet. I'm just making my list. Then I look at it and I take like another color pen just to be so fancy. And I'll be like, okay, what do I know I need to get done first? It's the most important thing. And I'll put a 1 next to it. And then a 2. And then a 3. And then that's the order that I'll work in. And it just helps me. What's amazing about a list of just getting things done is that nothing is going to like fall by the wayside. You won't, everything will get done because everything has been written down. And so you can focus on what you're doing. The other things are on the list, they're not going to go away, but you don't have to think about them right now because this is what you're working on. So for you list people, that is helpful. And try it if you haven't tried it before. I've tried to get it into lists. I don't do it every day, but if I do have a lot of stuff to do, then I will just write things down. But I think like what is quite helpful to me is sometimes you'd like just, it's difficult sometimes just to get into a productive space, right? And doing this one big task just seems like the worst thing in the world. Like just do those little unimportant tasks. Just do it. You can get it done. They're out of your hair. And then you can get started. And I think another really great tip is just to say, like, I'm just going to write a paragraph. I'm just going to write a sentence. And then you'll see, oftentimes you'll just get into both of us zone. I think have found that is like once you get into the zone of anything, it's just starting is the most difficult part. But you're thinking to yourself like, oh, I have a freaking 10-page essay. I don't know how I'm going to get it done. Just write a paragraph. Just start writing. Exactly. You don't need to get it all done in one go. And that goes with anything really. Something just with regards to you saying it goes with anything, I've found like, especially since the episode with your dad, check it out, Finance with Simon Murray, is it can be very overwhelming to save money, and you need to save money, but when you realize you just need to start, it can be $5. Exactly. It adds up. Just start, and do it on your terms, and you can only manage so much. Don't compare yourself to others. Exactly. I think another really important thing to do when you're feeling stressed, sometimes like I'm sure a lot of people find this as well, you just get into this really bad mindset, right? And like let's say you're busy writing this essay, once again, sorry for using the same example, but whatever,
you're busy writing this essay and like you can't get it done, you can't think of what else to say, so you're literally just sitting there in this like perpetual state of agony.
Yes.
You're like, oh, I don't know what to do. Just take a break.
For
Like
real.
you don't need to just sit down and stress yourself out all the time.
Yeah.
Take a break. If you're already like not actually doing anything and you're just making things worse for yourself, then just stop.
Yes.
Like it'll do you better in the future.
Yes.
And in the same vein, like go to sleep. Like please don't neglect your sleep. It is so important.
Goodness. In high school, I could get 3 hours of sleep and be fine.
Shocking. I've never.
I 100% can't now.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say I do struggle. I'm generally just quite fatigued and stuff.
Yes.
And I'm working on that, etc. But something I learned, and guys, I got my degree, is sleep is more important than staying up till all hours where your brain is physically not functioning right, and what's going to take you an hour is going to take you 5 hours in the night when you're tired. I promise you, if you're tired, and it's especially if it's nighttime, go to sleep. It is just going to benefit you.
Exactly. And like just for your general health, it's so important, and it's also like such an undervalued thing in our society. And I mean, we'll talk about this in a hustle culture episode, but I saw this post the other day and it was like, to be successful, whatever, you need to wake up at like 5 and then you're already like, you can like relax a little bit then, but then you get to work at 8 or whatever. And then you work, and you get to 5, it gets to 5 o'clock, then you go home, but then you need to work on the side hustle. And it's
what?
like,
The side hustle?
Exactly.
I was going to say, okay, getting up at 5, I would never do that, but I get people who do. But then...
But it's like when you... I feel like it's so important to set out times. This is the time that I want to work for. This is the time that I want to relax.
100%.
If you're literally just working the whole day, first of all, if you're like me at all, if you have a lot of time to do something... It takes so long to do it. It just takes so long. So I just say, I'm going to work until 5 o'clock today and then I'm going to relax. You don't need to work on a side hustle. You don't need to like monetize everything that you're interested in. And I'll talk about this in another episode because it's just so frustrating that people think that everything that they're interested in needs to benefit them financially or whatever.
Oh my goodness.
Like you can just enjoy something and relax. You know?
Amen.
Ugh.
Just with regards to any kind of stress, whether it's just like stress of being a parent or being in a stage of uncertainty or whatever the case may be, setting aside time is so important.
Yes.
And I'm going to use one of my favorite examples, good old Brian Baer. He's a friend of ours and he is 4th year medicine now, and he has so much on his plate, but he does not work on Sundays.
Yeah.
It is a rule. He does not work on Sundays.
That's amazing.
So he will... And he's also someone who he'll go to bed at 9-10 o'clock.
Yeah,
he won't stay up late.
Amazing. I could
so
never.
he pushes himself because he knows that non-negotiable, like on a Sunday, he's going to rest.
Yeah,
and I think it's so important that we're actually planning our rest,
yes,
so that it doesn't get put on the back burner and then you burn out.
And you suffer in the long run as well. Like just in terms of like living a long time. I mean, I don't want to live that long, but you know, I want to have a good life.
Yes.
You know, and like if you're stressing all the time, if you're not sleeping, if you're not eating healthily, and that's another thing, like you need to set time like to eat healthily, to have good meals. If you're not doing that, then it's not going to benefit you in any way. Like maybe you might get your assignment and maybe you might do well in your job that one time, but like, is it worth it in the end? You know, is it worth it to sacrifice everything because you're stressing so much?
Exactly.
And I don't think it is.
No.
Yeah.
And then another thing, just with regards to, I touched on it earlier on, social media and your phone.
Yes.
When you are trying to get a task done, every time you get a notification, like your brain immediately, whether you pick it up or not, is already going to, okay,
what is that?
Something's happening. And then you're kind of flipped out of your like
zone.
stage of concentration. So put the phone away. Also, for me, I tend to be irritable when I'm stressed. When you're irritable already and then you get a notification and it's someone you just don't feel like replying to, or it's just like another news headline about something stupid, it's only going to further irritate you. So if you're in a stage where you just can't deal put the phone down. Like,
Yes.
it's just
Turn it off, actually.
for real.
You don't need to have it on all the time.
No.
And I mean, I'm really, like, I'm preaching to myself right here.
No, same. All of the things we're saying right now.
It applies to us.
Yes.
We're not expert
No.
stress relievers
No.
at all.
I will say both of us have become better at handling
Yes.
our stress, though.
Definitely.
And then another thing. That's
That was
Danielle's
my-
puppy. I don't know if you heard that.
She's so cute.
She's so cute. Tea.
Oh, tea is wonderful.
For me specifically, rooibos tea, because it's just so wonderful. It also has no caffeine. And I just think if ever you're in a stressful situation,
Have a cup of tea.
just the whole act of making
Yes,
it,
it's a
letting the
ritual.
tea bags don't brew, steep.
Yes.
Ah, what a joy.
It's so nice.
Drink more tea, guys.
Exactly. And drink water.
I drink water now that I have a bottle. It's actually sitting in my car. It's going to get warm,
That's
Danielle.
good. Ugh, that's foolishness.
I know, I'm so sorry.
I think probably, okay, I have two things. And one thing is just, you know, the basics. Spend time with your family. Spend time with your pets. Pets are really wonderful, guys. Like,
I agree.
some people don't agree with having pets. I don't really understand. But they're so nice.
They really
And
are.
they're so
They love you
cute.
regardless
Exactly.
of what you do.
It's lovely. And then lastly, I mentioned this at the beginning. It's just recognizing the power of your thinking, you know?
100%.
So just turning something negative, for example, like we joked about it earlier, but thinking to yourself, oh, I have to do this thing. Turn it into, I get to do this, you know?
Yeah.
And like, let's say you're studying for your degree, you're working at a job. Hopefully you like whatever you're doing. I really hope so. And like, why then do we stress all the time about doing these things that will like benefit us in the long run, you know?
Yeah.
And I think it's just really just a negative mindset around doing work. And I mean, everyone likes to relax. I don't really like working that much. You know, I
Yes.
love to chill. But just thinking like, hey, this is adding to my knowledge, to my research skills, etc., etc. I get to do this thing, and this topic is interesting, so
Yes.
it'll be great. And then once again, just thinking to yourself that you do have all the time that you need.
Yes.
You know, you think about all the time, once again, that you spend on your phone, spend watching series. And by the way, I'm not opposed to watching an episode of something to relieve
No.
stress. That's
I
great.
Also, I feel like it's okay.
As long as it's controlled.
Exactly. So if you can say, okay, I'm going to watch one episode of something.
And then you watch one episode.
Watch one episode.
Great.
Yes.
If you know that it will just go into a whole
binge.
spiral of watching all these episodes and not doing what you want to do, then don't do it.
Yes.
Know yourself. Get to know yourself. But yeah, if you think about all the time that you use on those things, you do have all the time that you need to do whatever the heck that you need to do.
Exactly.
And I back you to do it.
I do too.
Yeah.
I have one last thing that I find helps with stress is just finding something that you really enjoy
Yes.
and not making it something you stress about. And I think we've been really good about that. So for me at the moment, one of the things is the podcast.
Same.
Is what's so nice about it is firstly so it's basically the three of us. So it's Danielle and I, and then Devin obviously doing all of our production.
Yes.
And I mean, Danielle and Devin are in Stellenbosch and I'm in Durbanville during the week. So we can't record on the week. So we know that every weekend or every second weekend, depending, we need to record an episode.
Yeah.
But we've made it in such a way that
It's not a stressful thing.
it's not a stressful thing, and if it feels like a stressful thing, then we'll put it off. We'll make another plan because it's not worth the stress if it's something that we enjoy.
Exactly.
And it's also I think it's helped us manage our time because we know and we want to record, so
Yes.
you got to get the other things done.
Exactly.
So find something that you genuinely enjoy
Yes.
and protects the way you
Yes.
view it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is going to be all sappy now, but I think one of the reasons why it's not so stressful is because our audience is mostly so supportive.
Yes.
Which is great. Thanks, everyone, for not being so mean. It's so nice. But yeah, I think we are just genuinely doing something that we love to do. We just love to
Yes.
talk, and for sure not all of our episodes will do well. Actually, it's so weird. Some will just do not so well, and others will just do so well.
And sometimes
there's
I'm
no in
surprised
between.
by it. Why do people want to hear about this and not this?
But anyway, we're just doing what we like to do. We're speaking about what we like to speak about.
Exactly.
And yeah, I think thanks to everyone just for being
Yes.
supportive.
And a great stress relief is just put on an episode of In Other Words.
Exactly.
And be so happy.
Yes, and so relaxed.
Yeah, I think that's all I had to say.
Yeah, same. I mean,
So-
I might think of something else later, but it is what it is.
Exactly. So
Cool.
thank you so much for listening
Indeed.
and for all of your support. Please go and follow us on Instagram.
Mhm. Interact with us. Subscribe on YouTube. We reached
Yes.
100 subscribers, by the way.
Woohoo!
Woohoo! So exciting. And yeah, we love y'all.
Yes, and to sound so cliche, don't stress.
Don't worry about it.
Bye,
Or just,
guys.
if you do stress, sorry, I'm so sorry.
It's
If you do
okay.
stress, then you can utilize some of our tips.
Exactly. Tea, showers, working out, walks.
It's a good time. But yeah, now for real. Bye.
Bye.